What's up? Welcome back to another video. So we're going to be diving into Fusion 360 today. I want to get into it because I've been using it quite a bit lately, and it's a unique CAD software. It's one that you're probably not really used to in terms of like how you build things compared to say SolidWorks or Inventor. It can frustrate a lot of people. I'm still getting used to it, but it's got some cool things about it. And yeah, we're just gonna be designing. Let's just get right into it. All right, so we're in Fusion. It's, you know, if I was new, I would say this is a pretty nice layout. It's pretty small, pretty tight, user friendly. This is actually the free version of Fusion. You can download a version for a year, and then you have to pay. And it's not super limited. The only things you don't get, I think, are the simulation and generative design, which I've never used. So most everything else you know, I can do most of what I do at work on this one. So we just open a new design. Right away, you can see that you don't have an option for a part or an assembly. In SolidWorks, you go new and you can open a new part or a new assembly. It give you two options. Fusion doesn't do that. Fusion treats all files the same. So here, I got a little demonstration here. So we got our remote here that we're gonna build. Let's say that we want to do this normally in SolidWorks, okay? The way that you do it, got two of them. The way that you normally do this is you start with your part. Let's say, in this case, we've got our base, okay? So you start with one part, you build this, and then you build the lid, and then your batteries. And then once you got your three parts here, you would open an assembly file and make your assembly. So you've got four files here, an assembly and three part files. And this is a bottom-up assembly, right? This is how it's normally done. In Fusion, you don't do that. In Fusion, you build your part like normal. You start probably with your base. And then in that same file, you'd build your lid. And then your batteries. And then you'd assemble them all in the same file. It's called a top-down assembly. You're meant to build all your parts where they need to go. And the idea is that this makes things a lot quicker when you start mating things up. So it's good in that way. I think Fusion is kind of meant for smaller assemblies. If you're working with, you know, assemblies with dozens or hundreds of parts, I think Fusion it gets a little bit messy. I haven't worked with really big assemblies, so it's been fine. But sometimes when you're trying, and we'll see here, but when you're trying to edit parts in a file and you have all the other parts there, it can get a little bit messy. Also, if I wanted to, here, let's say I designed this lid and I wanted to use this lid for different assemblies. In Fusion, if you build this part and you want to save a copy of it, that's all it's going to be. It's just going to be a copy. There's no link between the parts, the individual parts, and the ones that you build in the assembly, the originals. So that's what I mean when I say it's probably meant for smaller assemblies. That's what Fusion was kind of built for. All right, so we're gonna start with the build. We're gonna right click, go new component. That's what Fusion calls parts. So parts are components in Fusion. We'll get into the syntax. We'll call this the base. The base is actually two parts. So we'll call this the bottom. So this back piece and the silver piece are one, and this one, the topper is a cover. Here you guys see this this little circle here. This is to activate your component. So whenever you're designing a part or a component, you want to make sure that it's active. So right now we're active in the component that we want, and we're just gonna start sketching. So create a sketch. We'll do this on the front plane. We want to center a rectangle. Now this remote it's about 9 inches and then 2 inches wide. So we'll hit D for dimension. We'll make this 9 inches. And we'll make this guy 2 inches. And so it's fully constrained now. So when this is black, that means that your sketch is fully constrained, right? If we undo, you can see that it's anytime it's blue, it's not fully constrained, right? We can still move it. We're gonna extrude. We're just gonna hit E, which is the shortcut for extrude, and we're gonna go 0.375 inches. You can see here, a body in Fusion is something that's physical, right? So if this is our base, right? Let's say I want to sketch in something else. Let's say circle, and then I want to extrude that as well. Okay, this is another body that I'm adding to our component. So this is one component with two bodies. That's how Fusion does it. I'm gonna add another body here. I'm gonna do this same center rectangle, right about there. So you guys can see here, there's a tree on the bottom. The way that Fusion does this is it's got two trees. It's got one on the left and one on the bottom. What it does is on the left, you got all of your components, your bodies, your sketches, your joints or your mates. Fusion calls them joints. Any sort of planes that you build, stuff like that. It's on the left side. And then on the bottom are your features. So your extrudes, your cuts, your revolves, your chamfers, your holes, your patterns, etc. All that stuff goes on the bottom. If I click on the body, you can see it kind of highlights. It highlights any features that are part of that body, and then it highlights the body itself. Okay, so we're going to create another sketch on this plane. So you want to draw a line, just press L. And I want to start it on this edge. So it kind of snaps to the edge. And I want a little offset from the bottom there. So if I click now and I hold, it'll draw an arc, which is nice. It's kind of what we want. And then we'll draw another line to the center here. Now we'll draw a construction line here down the center. Okay, so there's our second construction line. So I want to make this angle. I think maybe. Well, it's kind of hard to see with this color, eh? Cherry wood. Ooh, nice. First, I think we're going to define this angle. We want it. I think 45 is good. We want a nice radius, so we're going to take this down, and then we want to make this tangent. So you see how now it's not like it's kind of at a sharp turn. We don't want that. We want a tangent. So I'm going to pick this line and hold down Control and pick this line. And you can see here what the constraints are that are available. So we're going to go ahead and pick the tangent constraint. And so now we get that nice smooth transition. Now I'm just going to mirror this. So I just hit Control, select both of those, and hit mirror. And then click the center line that we drew. And OK. So there you go. Now we've got, and you can see here as you hover over them, Fusion is smart enough where it'll kind of split up the sketch in the way that you probably want to select this profile and this profile. Let's go right about there. All right, so I just made some edits here to the sketch. Extrude it all the way through. Looks a little bit better now. We're going to draw another center rectangle just on the center here. Then we're going to make another sketch that's in the center going like this. Construct midplane. There we go. Midplane. So two faces. 1, 2. Boom. We've got our center face right there. Yeah, a little bit more. A little bit more. Maybe after right there, it starts to curve up. So we're going to hold Shift. How do we do this? No, we're going to hold the left click mouse button, and then we're just going to drag it up. Okay, so this is going to make an arc. And then we'll hit Escape. If I hit, where are we sweeping? All right, you got to select both of these, because this is our rectangle, right? And then the path is this guy. Okay. Okay, So not quite. Not quite. We want to make this, we just want to extend this out. Okay? So that's going to chop off the sides. We're going to start this radius a lot sooner. And we're going to delete this constraint. We're just going to extend this up to the heavens. See what that does. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We're coming along. We are coming along. Look at that. We're getting there, right? This is our target. This little sweep here. Can we make a center line somewhere? Yeah, see Fusion, it doesn't really like edges. It likes points. So I can probably snap. Can I even snap to the corner? What's the deal here? We have to snap it to the corner. See, yeah, like I said, Fusion, it doesn't really like, it doesn't like edges. Now we can draw our center line. That's it. I think that's our hey, that's our battery housing. Cool. I can change this color, and I want to make it black. Where did my color go? Oh, I forgot to drag. Dun 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 dun. So you fillet. Is it fillet or fillet? I always say fillet. I know it's fillet. I know it's fillet. Don't tell me that it's fillet. I know it's fillet. Yeah. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. We're going to right click again, new component. We'll say cover. Here's where Fusion gets a little bit interesting, because what I usually do and what I think it's kind of meant for is Fusion is quite parametric, right? What that means is that you're sort of meant to design parts relative to each other. So in this case, I want the cover to be the same size as the silver part. So you see how the black part and the silver part, they're kind of flush. I want to just take just project the top of the silver component and use that as our sketch. And I'll show you why. So I'm going to create a sketch, and I'm just going to select the face and this is kind of tough to see here, but I want to select the face, our top face here. If I wanted to make a part that's identical to our base, what I would do is I would hover over this. I would hit P for project here. We'll go in here and we want to project. Okay, we'll hit P. And look, you see how it's highlighting red? We'll select it. Okay. Here, we'll exit out of here and see what's happened. So what we've done here is we've referenced our previous part for our sketch. So let's just go ahead and extrude this. The reason why you do this is now you've got this part related to this part. So if you let's say decided, I want to change the size of my remote, I want to make this shorter, it would all scale. Let's see if I go ahead and I change this one. See? There you go. So you see how our new component here, our cover, it changes its shape, right? We didn't actually change the dimension, but because it's related to the previous component. So that's kind of nice. And I do this, sometimes you want to do it, sometimes you don't want to do it. We'll make each one of these 3/8. We'll select rectangular pattern. Yeah, I think I can do this with just the center one. And then I also want this way. There we go. There we go. That's exactly what I wanted. And now what we can do is we can start checking off which ones we want and which ones we don't want. Get rid of these guys. Can I just pick the pattern here? I can pick around the pattern, but that's not what I want. I want to pick all these holes. Do I have to pick them all individually? Come on. I can turn this back on. Where we hid this. Hey, that's looking pretty good, man. Okay, so we're gonna make our lid now. Like we just want to copy this, right? This little profile. I'll select these two. Can't extrude this. Yeah, we can't extrude it because it's separated, right? Because we've got a 2D sketch and then like a 3D one, and it doesn't like that. 0.5 inches. Just copy. Is it the sketch? I don't really like how they copied the sketches either. You should be able to just right click and copy. Like it's kind of silly going in and like selecting everything and Control V. And also like they need to make an escape. Like you should be able to just escape a sketch, right? Instead of having to go and undo. Well, no, you can't undo because I copied it. So if I undo the copy, it wouldn't do it. Yeah, like this is something that should be pretty trivial. Have an escape. Okay, so that's done. I create a section analysis to see what's going on. Okay, this is my lid. I want to cut it at this body. Can we select this face? Oh, we can do that. How does that look? Okay, so what we've done, we've split it. Now where's the split? Nah, it didn't work. Okay, so we want to cut out this thickness, right? It's a hollow lid. I mean, it's pretty thin. So what we can do is we can grab everything that's here. And then I think we can offset. So if you press O, yeah, I think that works. So go like this. Ooh, that's nice. So now we've got a nice uniform thickness, right? Let's say it's right there. If we go back to our extrude, we can include this guy here. Okay. So we don't want this hollow face, right? We want a solid face. So okay, so I've tried to figure out how to do this and I'm not really sure. I might have to just leave it here. Now, I guess we'll get to joints. I totally forgot about the joints. So what kind of joints do we want? Right now, we got some things that are floating. If I go ahead and grab this, I can move it, right? Part of the reason that we designed, remember this cover? We designed it flush. So we selected this face. Now, when we want to mate this, we don't have to move it. So if this cover, right, if it was, out here in space, then we'd have to mate it. And I'll show you guys how to do that as well. But when it's already in the place that you need to be, all you have to do is create what's called an as-built joint. So we go and create an as-built joint, and the components, we select our component, we select our second component, our base, and that should be it. Run the animation. It's rigid. Okay, it's rigid. That's what we want. Here, let's turn up this opacity, and we're done. With this cover, we're done. Look, now it's one part. Let's go a little bit more to joints here. So normally what you do, right? Let's say that you want to fit this guy into here. What you normally do in SolidWorks is you'd select these two faces and you make it concentric. And then you'd select maybe this face and this face if you wanted to make it flush. And then I think you'd be done. Maybe you'd need one more for the rotation, right? So you usually do two or three mates. In Fusion, if you want to do that same thing, what you do is here. Let's go ahead and do it. You would select this face, but you have to select a point in Fusion. So you notice how it's making me snap. It's saying like here, right? Select the snap point. So it's going to snap to somewhere. So here, I'll explain what Fusion does. So we'll snap it to here. Okay, this is how Fusion works. It eliminates all the degrees of freedom. Okay, so right now, this is a rigid joint. If we go in and we animate it, it's rigid. It's not sliding, it's not nothing. Once you made it, or you join it, then you start to remove your degrees of freedom. So now I have 0 degrees of freedom. We can change that. Okay. Where's the slider? Okay. Now we have a degree of freedom, right? Want to make it cylindrical. Now it's rotating and it's sliding. We have a parallel, or I guess that's a parallel joint. We got this one, right? So that's kind of how Fusion works. Now, some people like this, some people don't. I think for smaller assemblies like this, and especially like simple mates, like this is a simple mate, right? It's just a cylinder into another cylinder. This is pretty neat because you save time on your joints. Once you get into larger assemblies, and I've heard this from a lot of people, it's preferred. SolidWorks is preferred, but I mean, I couldn't tell you firsthand about this. Just mess around with the joints because they are quite different. How can we, and I actually don't know this because like I said, Fusion, it doesn't have a tangent joint, which kind of sucks. So we just want to make these two tangent. Let's see what happens if we click it. Does it? No, see, it makes it automatically makes it concentric. Can we flip it? No, we can't flip it. What I think I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a tangent plane. You can do that. I'm going to draw on this plane. Just going to create a point. Again, like I want to snap to the center here. We'll just eyeball this shit. Okay. Select this point. Yeah, and like you really have to, it really wants you to create some points, right? There might, I'm sure there's probably an alternative to what I did. I'm not super experienced with joints, to be honest. Okay, We'll just select there, and then we'll select here. That should work, right? All right, and then we'll yeah, then you can just slide it where you want to go. So anyway, it's not perfect, but we got a lot done. So there you go. That's Fusion. I'm really happy. I'm really happy with the remote, to be honest. You know, it's I'm sure a lot of the things that I couldn't do, it just comes with experience. I'll you know, figure out how to do that. It's still missing. You know, Fusion's still kind of like some of the things I said. You know, snap to the middle or stuff like that, like stuff that's, you know, a tangent mate. It could still I think do a bit better there. But look, for $50 a month, just use the cracked versions, man. No. I'm not gonna throw any cracked versions on here. I got a lot of that before. $50 a month compared to, you know, $450, probably $400, $500 a year for, let's say, SolidWorks, $2,000 a year for Inventor. It's got pretty good bang for its buck. I'm not saying it can do everything. It's you know, obviously, like with that sort of price difference, you'd expect SolidWorks to be a lot more powerful for maybe bigger assemblies, a lot of parts, animation, stuff like that. But dude, if you're a hobbyist, if you're a small company, building prototypes, like Fusion does pretty well. It's pretty good bang for its buck. Like I said, you can get the free version. This was the free version. So yeah, this was fun. Only took about 4 hours, but hope you guys, hope you guys enjoyed that. Do me solid, like and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. If you have any solutions to those fixes there, go ahead and leave them in the comments. My name is Wissam. Thank you all for watching again. Love you. See you next time.
The sky is falling.